So while we try to figure out where the rest of 2021 went, I'm going to share some big wins that I had this year. Just the big ones. Hi everyone, my name is Erin James, and yes, it is December. And going into 2022, I want to share some things that I overcame and some wins that I got this year. So often we tend to think what if and overwhelm ourselves with what if, not just as far as future tense. Is that a thing? You know, we worry so much about what could go wrong instead of what could go right. I'm talking about in the past tense of we overlook accomplishments. We think of what we could have done better and ignore the wins that we did have. Let's say you knock out a presentation, or you choose not to procrastinate and you actually finish a project to present. And now you're worried, instead of focusing on I finally got it done, you're worried so much about what are people going to think about it. Then you present, your supervisor, the team, they love it, they applaud you, they compliment you, they have no issues with it. They might ask a few questions and you knock that out the park and you finish something else. But you don't think about how good it went. You think about, well, what does this mean for me? Am I going to get a promotion or raise? How is this going to compare to other people's presentations? Let's say you finally get a promotion, right? Now you got the promotion, but instead of applauding yourself and celebrating, you think, now I have all these responsibilities, I'm stressed out. What if I can't live up to these expectations? And then you get that imposter complex. You put clothes on, you brushed your teeth, you showered. I hope you did these things. You know, you cleaned up your room, you filled up your gas tank, right? You finished an assignment, you got a job done, you sold something to someone. These are small wins, but they're worth acknowledging. You learned something today. That's a win. Just give yourself a pat on the back every once in a while. I think it's important to do. I personally, when I meditate, I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then I think of 1 thing that I love about myself. And I think that helps with being more positive and being a friend to myself, because a lot of times we fail to be friends with ourselves, but we tend to give that kindness and friendship and that kind of attitude and behavior to everyone else, while still downplaying our own value and being pretty mean to ourselves. I would say the biggest win this year for me is actually taking that leap of faith to pursue a lifestyle that I want and giving up a lifestyle of relatively comfy living that I was having for several years. Especially at an age where I'm still considered young in a way, but expected to start settling down or preparing to, whether it's with work and my career path, with a romantic partner, buying property, and kind of settling into where I'm going to be and who I'm going to become within these next few years. Seeing a lot of people that I work with and associate with, and some friends, and seeing their lives and where they're going, I will have to add that another win I think for me is not getting anyone pregnant this year. Another win, and this is another big win, is moving to where I have been wanting to live at for quite a while, for over a decade. I remember snippets of the times I did visit with my family, with my parents and my little sister. We'd drive down and visit my auntie here in northern Atlanta, Sandy Springs specifically. And we'd go to like the aquarium, museums, all that. But I was so young. I remember swimming and all that. I was so young, a lot of it I don't really remember too vividly. I remember Six Flags, and that's about it. Last decade, I traveled here on my own and visited my aunt. I'd visit her for a week once a year, and every time I enjoyed it. I would explore, and I had a lot of fun. She'd show me around, and every time it was how I envisioned it and how I imagined it would be. So I never had any issues every time I visited, and so I had always had that desire to move here, and I knew that one day I'd at least try it out. I always loved the city. I always really enjoyed the weather, especially growing up in Illinois. I know a lot of locals don't like transplants, but I'm here and I'm very grateful that I was given the opportunity to at least be here for the time that I'm here. I've traveled to other countries. I've lived in another country. I've traveled to many cities, states, and none of them could change my mind really on as far as where I wanted to live. The only place I'd say is maybe northern Colorado. I love the people there. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. It's beautiful. There's so much to do, similar to here. Festival always going on. There are a lot of activities, a lot of sports. There's Denver, so you have a city there that if you want to go there and really dive into that kind of city life. It's not the same as Atlanta. I will say that it's not as big. It's not as grandiose. I would say the feeling and the vibe is not the same. I will say the hiking in Colorado is probably better, just because the scene, the view. There are many beautiful views here in Georgia, but it's not. I don't know. It's not the same. If it just feels, going to Colorado is living near Colorado was just a great experience. Now those were just a few wins. I've had many more. Whether it's getting out of debt, getting a car when I finally moved here, moving to a place that I had no family and was starting from scratch. I've never been to. That was a win because I didn't think I'd be able to do that. Finding work and making videos, I'd say, is a win. I'm getting back into a healthy routine of making sure I'm reading, making sure I'm journaling, making sure I'm not spending too much time just watching television and watching videos and all the time, and slowly easing myself back into the gym. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. Hope you guys are healthy and taking care of one another. Check up on each other. Check up on yourself, and remember, potential has no limit.